Oh, time to put the spandex on again. Stick around, I'll tell you about it. Hi folks, Old Man Grognard back, and today we're going to be talking about a superhero game called Villains and Vigilantes 3.0 Mighty Protectors. Now, this is a 166-page book. It was published in 2017 by Jeff D. and Jack Herman, and Jeff D. did all the artwork. And the publisher is Monkey House Games. Now, this is the third edition of V&V. This predates a few of them. I think it kind of runs neck and neck with Champions, I think. But it was the first complete superhero role-playing. It was the first one where you rolled for your characters, like Marvel. I never really played this because I found Marvel a little easier at the time, the other incarnations of this game. But I really like this third edition. And because they've changed it, it's been through as much superhero arcs and litigation. They got the rights back, Jeff and Jack, and so they pretty much reworked the whole thing from the ground up. It still feels like Villains and Vigilantes from what I've seen in the books, but they've got quite a few tweaks that make it even better, I think. Let's take a look at the book, first of all. It's a beautiful book. 2-column, easy to read. They kind of do the legal numbering here. I found that a little disruptive, but they have a good table of contents, so it kind of works out. Here's a little bit about the basic characteristics. They put a lot of stock in background, which I kind of like, because background can help your character, because you end up doing background first, because you may get a few extra perks out of it. Say you come from an alien world or another dimension or something, they do have kind of like little kits for the typical person from that world. So that's kind of nice. Here's some of your powers. Now they have 2 or 3 ways to do the powers. And the main way I found out is to roll them up. After you do your background, you get a certain amount of rolls. And what you do is you roll up the character, roll up its basic stats, and then they give you a certain amount of character points, power points, whatever you want to call them, to use for your powers. Let me explain. I'm kind of doing this backwards. Let's go back to the stats. The stats are strength, endurance, agility, intelligence, and cool. And those are kind of important. They can be, because there's still shades of D&D in this. Not very many, hardly any, but there's a couple of mechanics you're probably going to recognize. Now what you do is you go to the charts and you choose a couple of offensive, a couple of defensive, and 1 other power, and then you decide which ones are going to be your main powers, which ones you're going to let go. Okay, that's usually, from what I understand, from what I've read to the earlier editions, that's where it ends. But this one, the GM establishes a power level for the game, and based on the power level, each character gets so many character points or creation points to buy their stats, to buy up their stats, because you're rolling your stats. You buy up your stats, or to get your powers, which are what they call abilities. Now, it kind of falls in line with Hero here, because you're buying them with points. But with this, you can up them. What I like about it is they kind of don't throw it all at you at once. If you look at the abilities section, each power has kind of some modifiers that you can throw extra points in and get it. And so that kind of takes care of some of the customization. They also have a customization section afterwards, which are pretty much basic. And they give you enough points where you can actually come up with a decent character to begin with. They kind of roll the skills into the abilities. So you'll find the knowledge skill in there or something like that. There are also weaknesses, which I know is disadvantages from champions. And that reduces your point cost on things. Power modifiers can modify the powers that reduce your point cost, or add to your point cost if you're doing an advantage thing. But like I said, it's all kind of like a package right there. Speaking of packages, I wish they had more packages. They have one called, what's it called? Oh, they have the multi-ability limitation modifier. And it kind of works like a multi-power in champions. You'll use your powers one at a time, things like that. And it gives you kind of a cost break on the powers. They need more of those. They need more of those, and that would be a good thing. Now, every stat except strength has a save. Saves are for everything except combat. If you need to make a strength save, if you need to make a this save or a that save, or an intimidation check, or the inventors tend to use the saves as inventing things. And the combat is pretty much D&D, roll to hit, and you are using, let's see what it says here. You're using your agility for physical things and intelligence for mental things. So that affects how you use your powers. The targets pay, or it says targets physical defense, which you can buy up with armor and things like that, or mental defense if you buy up, protection from in here, are subtracted from the chance to hit. So you can go, okay, I rolled this to hit, and the guys go, well, I have this much. You got to subtract this much. So that's how you do it. It kind of comes off as Champions or Mutants and Masterminds light, which I like, because it's a little easier to follow, and there's less donkey, what I call donkey work, than doing up the adventures. And it's just, it feels good. It feels real good, and they actually give you experience, of course, to buy up your power, modify your powers and stuff. You may even be able to buy a new power or something like that. And it just flows. It just works, I like the fact also that he put his Mighty Protectors world in here. I believe this is Jeff D's campaign that he's been running for low on to 30 years. And he puts it in there and gives you just enough. This is what I like it. He doesn't give you a whole atlas. He doesn't give you a whole supplement of it, but he gives you the major players and the major organizations and things like that have to do with supers, which is really nice. Plus there's like a random adventure seeds thing in the back. That is really nice too. And it's just got a really good feel to it. And it looks a lot simpler to run. I mean, I'm a 12-year Champions player. And I can't run Champions anymore. Oh, I'll play it night and day, but I can't really run Champions anymore because it's just, it's a lot of work and paper shuffling. Not only do you have to stat out every single thing, unless you have mooks, and mooks are few and far between in supers, unless you have like Hydra agents or something like that. But if you're going to fight a supervillain team versus a superhero team, every single supervillain had to be statted. And it just got to be a lot of work and paperwork. I ran a combat for my grandsons, and I was exhausted afterwards. This one, not so much, because I can fudge things. I can have supervillains where I only have a few powers and maybe a weakness or so. I can do the second echelon or the B-list or C-list supers for them to fight, which is a nice thing. And it just comes together rather nice. Jeff, Jack, you did a good job. Thank you for this game. Where to buy it? Okay. Where to buy it? If you need it in print, Lulu. Hardcover runs you about $54.99, and softcover is $29.99. If you need the PDF, you got to go over to Drive-Thru RPG or RPG Now, and they're selling the PDF for $29.99. There may be sales. Check on it. There is no print and PDF bundle. I wish there was. I would have liked to save a couple of bucks on that, but there you go. But still, also, the book doesn't have an index. That's another drawback. It has a really good table of contents, but every game book to me needs an index because you got to drill down sometimes. So, Jeff Jack, put an index in it. Anyway, good job, guys. Go out and buy it. It is V&V 3.0, The Mighty Protectors. And if you want to talk about this or any other video or any other game that I reviewed or any other thing that I put on video, you can always send me an email at ohmygrognard@gmail.com. So, until we see each other next time, bye-bye.